Hello and welcome to Ironside Sheets. Today we're going to be talking about The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. Now, if you're wondering why am I wearing the same shirt as I was last time and why do I still have a sweat ring, is because I've recorded one video right after the other. It happens. It happens. Now, this book is fucking bonkers. Holy shit. Yeah, no, I like to think I read a lot and then I realize that I don't. I've read Yes, I've read all these books. They range from I have one light novel, I have kids books, I have The Way of the Seal, I have fantasy fiction, Stephen King, because he's a category all his own. Um, Science fiction. I think I read a lot, and then I come across something like this that tells me I just haven't read all that much. So let me get this out of the way, and this is a spoiler. So if you're worried about spoilers, you've been warned. The Only Good Indians follows the idea of the only good blank are dead blank. So the only good Indians are dead Indians. Stephen Graham Jones, I think, is Native American, and he puts it in his own book. Don't criticize me for saying that. I mean, you can, but I don't care. Anyway, so yeah, it does follow that whole idea, and it is about a curse. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole thing about this curse. See, the thing is, when I spoke about the Old Man in the Sea, there really isn't a lot to talk about the Old Man in the Sea, and not a lot to my opinion about it. I mean, it's a straightforward story about an old man on his fishing boat trying to catch a fish, and really, that's all it is. The Only Good Indians. It took me two attempts to. Well, I listened to the audiobook, and I liked it. It just took me two attempts to listen to it because it gets a little convoluted at points, but generally speaking, is a very clearly defined book, and it gets nuts. Like, I read this in January or listened to it in January, and thinking back to it now, I'm still reeling over it. Now, it follows a group of four friends, and here is where I'm going to tell you a little bit about the premise. These four friends went out hunting in an area they're not supposed to hunt. Now, it wouldn't have been such a big deal, except they got caught. One, two, they did something pretty horrific while they were out there. And it wasn't intentional. They never meant to do that thing. It just so happened that that was what happened. And in the heat of the moment, they did it. And I won't tell you because it's pretty messed up and you should read it just for that part alone, just to understand what's going on. But now they're dealing with a curse. And it's nuts. I mean, it follows each one's demise. One of them he's taken care of pretty quickly. Number two, it's long, it's grueling. Three and four, oh, it's just twisted. And I love this book so much. And so I before I get into the whole a little bit more of the plot, I'm going to tell you I think it is totally worth the read. Stephen Graham Jones did a very good job, and I'd give it like a 4.5 out of 5 stars. 5 out of 5 stars would be I would read it again, and I would read it over and over. And I do have a couple of those kinds of books, but this one I don't think I would read again. Oh, I will say, and if you're someone who likes to buy books for the covers, if you manage to find a volume of these, they actually do have you can't really see it, but they do have some like you can hear the difference. I don't know if you can hear the difference. They have texture on the antlers, so it's nice. But now this is where I'm going to go from basically no spoilers to real spoilers. The Only Good Indians follows four friends who go on a hunting trip. Now, they go on a hunting trip in forbidden territory because that's where all the elk are. I think they're elk, not their deer. Either way, they go hunting, and they shouldn't have. And they go and they find a herd of, we're gonna call them elk, and they shoot the ever living crap out of the entire herd. And it wouldn't have been, and they're They're on a high. They're rushing through, trying to cut the haunches. But along the way, they shoot a female, a doe or a female elk. They shoot her. She does not give up. She keeps fighting. They shoot her about 4 times, and one of them, in order to finish it, they just blow out her brains, point blank. They shot her in the spine. They shot her in the probably in the lungs. 4 shots, and the last one was point blank to end it. Worst worst part was she was pregnant, and she shouldn't have been that far along. She shouldn't have. They were thinking she's a young mother. She shouldn't really have been a mother at all, and they're freaking out. It's one of the freakiest things I've ever seen. They bury the baby, then they get caught, and they're told, "Well, take all that meat. Like we'll just ban you from hunting for a while, but take all that meat and give it to the people of the tribe, the elders more specifically, and we'll wipe it off your record. No jail time, nothing like that." So they do. They do. They they skin the female. They take all the meat. They distribute it, and all is well. The 4 friends are living their life. One of them has left. One or well, 2 have left. One left about 10 years earlier than everyone else. One left pretty recently, and then the other 2 are still on the reservation. So friend 1 is the one that leaves fairly recently, and he is trying to find work. He's trying to get away from the reservation, and along the way, he's outside of a like a biker bar, and he's doing okay. He tries to avoid trouble, and he does for the most part. And then he's taking a leak outside, and he sees an elk, and he's looking at the elk, and he's like, "What is going on with you?" Like he knows it. He notices it's not behaving properly, and so he pays some attention to it, but he's like, "Okay." Then the elk startles and starts almost purposefully banging across itself on car alarms, just slamming into everything, and it's causing damage, and it's freaking him out. And so he's already freaking out. He's trying to hide, and the worst part is and those alarms call all the truckers, bikers, everyone that's inside, rough and tumble people. They come in, and he's already marked them as bigots, and he hasn't really said anything to get their attention, but now it's on. So he goes, he runs, he finds himself in front of another herd, or in front of a herd of elk, and he's beaten to death by the people in the bar. That's friend number 1. Friend number 2 is driven to madness, insanity, loses his mind. And I'm not going to tell you anything about that because you need to read it. That first one, yeah, it covers like a chapter. The second friend covers like 4, 5, 6. He covers the majority of the book. It's nuts, and it's worth reading. But read it. Like, just take your time, read it. Friends 3 and 4 are also driven to insanity, but they're driven to insanity by another player in this whole game, and it pits them against each other. Then it pits the curse versus one of their kids. How it ends, you must read. Now, I'm going to go through another review here. The Only Good Indians is a really good book. The characters are solid. The plot is awesome. It is gross at times, but it is totally worth the read. If you're squeamish, don't read it. But if you're not, or can handle some gore, you're good. Read it. Worth a shot. The biggest thing about it that I really enjoy about this whole book is that Stephen Graham Jones doesn't really hold anything back. He brings the emotional pain and frustration and confusion, and he mixes it in with physical pain, malice, gore. He brings both, and then on top of all of that, he brings a spiritual level and wraps it around the whole thing. And it's an amazing book. And if you have the time, pick it up. 4 out of 5, well, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Will I read it again? Probably not. It's not my cup of tea, but I bet you'll like it. All right. Thanks everyone. If you like it, if you like this video, please leave a like. If you think someone else will like it, share it so that way they can see it too. And if you like my content enough that you want to see more of it, please subscribe. It lets me know that people want to see what I produce. Also, I've written some books. I will put the link down in the description below. That takes you to my website. I've written other reviews. It's been a while since I've uploaded a written review, but I have quite a few, and like 30 some, ready to go on my website. Also, link will be in the description. So thanks again, and have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye.